Hey guys, Bill Spadea here. Welcome back to Facebook Live. So thanks for all the comments at the end of the show today. I got a lot of feedback on my rant at the end. Here's the bottom line, and this is what we need to talk about. 4 million New Jerseyans did not get the jab, yet all of the metrics are through the floor. The curve is flat, and people are not getting sick. Why? Because the Delta variant is simply not deadly. It's just not. And you're being fed a line of propaganda to coerce and bully and force the other 4 million people in the state that did not get the jab to get it. There's no reason for it. Why can a non-doctor, Governor Murphy, get away with recommending and pushing and bullying and forcing a medical experiment, yet a non-doctor who is on a corporate board or a talking head of the media, the minute they say something, take me for example, I'll tell you, I'm not getting the jab, not getting it, no way, no how. There's nothing they can do to force me to do it. I would sooner leave my job than take an experimental jab. It is that simple. And the reality is I don't need it. I mean, I'm a young guy, I'm 52. And I'm healthy as I can be. I practice yoga, hot yoga every day. So look, there's a reality here. The 4 million people that did not get the jab should prove the point that A, the variant is not deadly at all. B, coronavirus is done. It's done. It's over. It's just done. There's no legal precedent, nor is there any medical reason for Governor Murphy to be threatening to shut us down again. It's absolutely disgusting. The man should be impeached, indicted, arrested. He is a criminal as far as I'm concerned. This governor forced sick people into our nursing homes and killed thousands and thousands of elderly patients at a time when we absolutely knew, beyond a doubt, the vulnerable were the elderly, the fat, and the sick. We knew that. If you're old, fat, and sick, coronavirus can kill you. There's no question about that. Look at the numbers. They say that 85% of the hospitalizations had a vitamin D deficiency. They say that 80% of the deaths were people who are overweight. We know who the vulnerable people are. Never before in history have we witnessed a free government shut down and lock down healthy people. This is criminal what's going on. And now they're threatening it again. And let's face it, 4 million out of 9 million did not get vaccinated. Before even 1 in 6 New Jerseyans were vaccinated, and this goes across the country, this coronavirus pandemic was over. And I would challenge 20 years back, 30 years back, this would not have even risen to the level of a pandemic, the way the World Health Organization tracks this stuff. This is nonsense. This is no different than the 2018 flu season that we had. And you might say, well, not as many people died. Well, no, not as many people were reported to have died with a positive COVID test. Remember something. It is within the context of this that we already know the PCR test has producing positive results that are false. We know that the mistake rate, depending on how high the cycle threshold is, can be as high as 90%. 90%. Lisa, thank you for saying that. I fight every day, and I really, the corporate guys get mad at me. Then there was that ridiculous headline from our news department, which was called out by so many of you on social media. And I can't defend it. I mean, the idea that we've got a news department that literally was feeding off of the governor's talking points. It's time for our news at 101.5 and news across New Jersey to stop reporting on the governor's ridiculous metrics. Because remember something. The governor was talking about the rate of transmission. The legislature gave the governor the power that if it goes over 1, he can lock down again. The legislature literally gave away that power. It's amazing to me that they did that, but they did it. So now the question is, how are they even tracking the rate of transmission? And the better question is, why does the rate of transmission matter even a little bit? Isn't it all about people in the hospital? Wasn't this originally all about fixing people and making sure that if you got sick, you could be healed? Well, then why did the governor ban the use of hydroxychloroquine? Why did the governor keep ivermectin out of the hands of people? Why was the governor even involved in what could be prescribed by a doctor? That seems insane to me. Now the medical establishment comes around and admits that hydroxychloroquine worked and admits that ivermectin worked. I mean, we know all this now. You don't need a vaccine. You've got hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin and healthy immune systems. And guess what? Most of you had natural immunity. 2/3 of the country had natural immunity before they rolled this vaccine out to begin with. And that's according to the numbers reported by Dr. Marty Makary. And when I think about Dr. Marty Makary at Johns Hopkins, Johns Hopkins produced the ticker tape that panicked the crap out of everybody, along with the Chinese communist propaganda with that. Remember the Chinese guy, the business guy, he's in a suit, walking out of a store. They showed his body on the street. Guys, I think that was a total fake. I think this is classic propaganda. They're making it up the same way the Chinese communists do it, the same way the Nazis did it, the same way that the Soviets did it. I mean, you want to talk about a scary time. We had Joe Panaccio, state senator, have a Senate discussion, official Senate committee discussion with doctors and scientists, and it was taken off of YouTube. That is the kind of censorship befitting of the communist regime in China or the Nazis back to the 30s, suppressing any kind of dissent, suppressing anything that counteracts and contradicts the narrative. Thomas, I don't know where you think I'm embarrassing myself, but maybe you should pick up a book and read something or leave the rest of us alone. We don't care. I'm no longer in the business of convincing anyone of anything. I don't care. You don't agree with me? That's fine. I love a good debate. But the reason I debate people on the air that don't agree is not to convince that person. It's to show people that they can also argue and fight back. Push back on your family members. Push back on your friends. Change your friend group if you have to. My wife and I were talking about this. This trip across the country, in part, is because through this entire battle, we have made friends across America who are standing and fighting for medical freedom, who are standing and fighting against the lie of the January 6th insurrection. It didn't happen the way they reported it. It was not an insurrection. And it was used by this fraudulent presidency, this president right now, Biden, who was declared the winner, and I think they cheated like hell, to lock down and militarize our nation's capital, all the while condemning former President Trump when he suggested sending the military in to keep peace in our cities. I've said this before. President Trump failed. I don't want him to run again. I know a lot of you are huge Trump fans. I do not want President Trump to run again. I think it is time for new blood. It's time for governors like Ron DeSantis, governors like Kristi Noem, and others out there to be a strong voice for normal. Trump screwed up. He should have fired Fauci. He should have fired every single person at the FBI. I would have shut the FBI down immediately. Immediately. Oh, I got flagged. By the way, funny. I questioned the patriotism of our current FBI leadership, and Instagram actually sent me a warning that my account could be shut down. So look, eventually I will not be coming to you live on Facebook because Facebook will drop me. Eventually you're going to have to just go to my Rumble site. It's rumble.com. Just Google Bill Spadea and rumble.com. You can find my Rumble channel. And the reason Rumble is good is it's still a bastion of free speech, as is Town Square. And as much as I am critical of corporate, the reality is Town Square Corporate has stood behind me. They are believers in free speech. So all of you that were tweeting at me yesterday and angry as hell about the disagreement with some of the stories you were hearing, know that I am here for balance. And as long as Town Square values our listeners, a majority of which are just normal people wanting to live their lives, some got the vax, some didn't get the vax, some totally agree with me, some disagree with me vehemently. But we all agree that a conversation has got to continue, and that's how we move forward as Americans. So for my time, I am thankful to the corporate leadership, actually, at Town Square Media, because they afford me this platform. And I can use the company Facebook to come and talk to you every day. And the other thing they know, because let me tell you, can you imagine corporate fact checks me all the time? They know that I'm right. They know that I don't talk about anything that I can't back up with a medical document, with a well-researched, thought-out opinion. And I quote some of these doctors all the time. You know, Dr. Gupta from Oxford is one of the great minds out there. Dr. Kuldor from Harvard, Dr. Bhattacharya from Stanford. These are great medical minds. These are great medical minds, and they've all come to a similar conclusion. Number one, that's a funny comment. I don't really interact with the afternoon guys at all. I, as you know, am personal friends with Steve Trevelise because we perform together. We've known each other for a while. Personal friends with Dennis and Judy because we've known each other for a while. And Judy Franco is the reason that I'm even at this station. So if you get mad, you can get mad at Judy for dragging me in here. All right, so the Delta variant, not deadly. The vaccine, not necessary. Herd immunity from natural immunity, very real. All of the three statements I just made can be backed up and are backed up at my website, nj1015.com/Bill Spadea. Facts are facts. You're entitled to your own opinion. You are not entitled to your own facts. And listen to the governor. He is not using any facts. He is a non-medical person using no facts and telling you to take the jab. I'm telling you, based on all the facts I've written, I think you're crazy to take this jab. And look, if you want, I was talking about this with Eric Scott. You know, you want to travel, you want to go on a cruise, you want to do things and not have the hassle. Most Americans are non-confrontational. Sadly, that's the problem. The saga continues. I am hoping that my son will be able to get his exemption, and I'm not going to have to worry about him taking this experimental jab because we were researching it, and the school is technically requiring it, but there's so many loopholes in it that I think we're going to be fine. But it's interesting because at first we were worried about the Pfizer shot with the this enlarged heart, right? Moderna and Pfizer, I don't trust them at all. I think for young men, it's a scary proposition. But then we looked at the Johnson & Johnson shot, and now it comes out that this Guillain-Barré, which is a very serious neurological condition which can paralyze you, is a side effect of the Johnson & Johnson shot. Not according to conspiracy theory, radio and TV. No, according to the FDA. So it's over, guys. We now know people have died from the vaccine. We know that based on the vaccine adverse event reporting system, where medical professionals are calling people as they died after taking the shot. Now, is it conclusive? Well, no more conclusive than the vaccine protects you from anything. Think of it this way. Every week, the UK was reporting on deaths and vaccine-related injuries and positive cases among the vaccinated. What happened was 5 or 6 weeks in, the number of cases among the vaccinated went through the roof and was higher than those without the shot. Think about that for a minute. That's scary. So I actually think the vaccine could be causing more harm than good. Is that medical misinformation? No, that's my opinion based on reading the good doctors who have all weighed in. Great video I just tweeted out at Bill Spadea. You got to follow me on Twitter while I'm still there, right before I get banned. It's from Dr. Craig Wax talking about weighing the options of whether you should get vaccinated or not, the idea of vaccine mandates and how bad they are. So, you know, you got to look at this. This is serious stuff. And those of you that are mad, what's so funny is for all of you that know that I not only speak truth, I am your super spreader of truth because I read 2-3 hours every single day. I'm as well read on this subject as anyone out there. And I've concluded that not only do I not need the vaccine, but COVID's not going to be what kills me. It's just that simple. Now, we get, you know, it's funny because the detractors, they love to come at you, right? And they come at you not with facts. They come at you with accusations and name calling. They come at you saying that, oh, the spreader of propaganda, this one guy, stop embarrassing yourself, Bill. It's so funny to me because think about this. You know, I remember Sarah Palin said it. She said that she was living rent-free in Clinton's head. I think it was Sarah that said that. But it was one of those funny things that you know, you can live rent-free in somebody's head when they hate you so much that they're so preoccupied. Can you imagine hating somebody so much that you're going to spend 20 minutes on a Tuesday morning listening to the guy you hate? I actually feel bad for the haters that are on here, but I love that they're here. That's why we don't block them. Keep it coming. That's fine. Hey, look, maybe one of them is going to actually learn something. I challenge every hater, every person that disagrees with me, to read my article talking about Dr. Marty Makary, Dr. Sunetra Gupta. Read. Martin Kulldorff. I mean, Martin Kulldorff is a Harvard University medical professor, renowned doctor in the world, and he testified to the New Jersey State Senate hearing on masking kids and came down hard on the side of there's no reason for a mask on a kid. He has been suspended from Twitter on occasion. Every 3 or 4 months he gets suspended. He was taken down from YouTube. The trolls are running the show because the social media oligarchs put the trolls up to it. The haters out there who are calling out conspiracy theory, etc., they're just put up to it by their own ignorance. So ignore them. Ignore them. And for my money, I don't know why anybody would take this jab. Why can a non-doctor tell you you have to take the jab, but a non-doctor can't read doctors and come out and conclude that you shouldn't take the jab? Why is that? Why is that? This is Tiananmen Square all over again. It's the Tiananmen Square of social media. That anybody that speaks against the narrative is going to be canceled, shut down, or otherwise put in jeopardy and pain. That's what we're fighting against. So I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting for the 4 million people in New Jersey that did not take the jab. I'm fighting for the 100 million people across the country, actually closer to 150 million people across the country. It was at last count, actually it was more than that. I think it's more than half the country now. I think we're up to 45% total vaccinated. So that means there are more of us than them. Stick with us. Stick with us. We're going in the right direction. We stand up for liberty. We stand up for freedom. And we're going to fight against this tyrannical creep of government that has literally infected the real virus, Anthony Fauci, Phil Murphy, Judy Persicilli, Gerbir Graywall, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. This is the real virus that is taking over our country because they can't understand why people are fighting back. And they're trying to divide us between the vaccinated as the great unwashed and the non-vaccinated. So if you haven't taken the vaccine, you are the target. You are the target. Don't let them do it to you. There are plenty of facts out there. Read the doctors, read the medical professionals. Understand that this is all about fear. It has nothing to do with medical science. Our hospitals are empty. People are not getting sick. The Delta virus is an absolute scam. How do I know that? Because Eric Scott and I, for a year plus, have been talking about the dozens of mutated coronaviruses and the thousands of variations. Think about that for a minute. Thousands of variations over just a year and a half. They've picked one. How do they even test for that? Do you buy it? I don't. I think the whole thing is a complete garbage scam designed to keep you scared. Remember this, you go into an operation. Eric just had a procedure. A friend of mine just was in the hospital the other day. They did not test the vaccinated folks. They're only testing the unvaccinated, and then they're claiming that the virus is spreading among the unvaccinated. It's garbage, garbage, garbage. Don't listen to the lies. You don't need the vaccine if you're a healthy, younger person. It is that simple. Your natural immunity is going to protect you. Will some people die? Yes, people die from the flu. People die from pneumonia. People die crossing the street. I mean, with the numbers they're talking about with COVID, you may as well tell everybody not to drive anymore because you could be killed on your way to work. Think about this. And yes, Chris, you were right. The 1976 swine flu mRNA virus vaccine was way worse than the virus itself. They pulled it, and there were long-term repercussions for a lot of people that had a health crisis. The new legal commercials you're going to see in 5 years are going to be people saying, did you get the vax? Were you forced to take it? Let's go sue your employer. And I hope every one of the bastards who forced this vaccine gets sued or indicted. It has got to stop. Stop vaccine status segregation. Stop the persecution of people who advocate for medical freedom. Stop the cancel culture of those of us who love our country and know that we are not a racist country, that we are a strong country. Stop the calling of bigotry for anybody who understands it's absolutely not normal to have biological boys playing girls' sports. All of those things, all lumped in together, all of it. Those are your litmus tests. You know where I stand. I know where most of you stand too. Let's keep fighting together. I got to jump. It's 10:18. I got to go hit a meeting, and I'm recording an audio book. I'll keep you posted. It's a great book called Utopia Project. Everyone Must Die. It's by a friend of mine, Billy Daring, who is a local New Jersey author. I'm recording the audio book now. Should be out in a couple of weeks. I'll keep you posted. And our movie Psycho Storm Chaser was bought. They made an offer at Lifetime, so that movie will be coming out. I'll let you know the release date, and I'm already tonight is our first pre-production meeting for the next movie. It's in the psycho genre. I'll let you know. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining me. See you soon.